HarperCollins presents Mistress of Bones by Maria Z. Medina. Read by Ana Osorio. To adventurous hearts and determined souls. The Lord Death and the Lord Life stared down at the barren land. Their creatures would form and rise. They would wriggle and they would try. And then they would die. So, they raised the continents. And the Lord Life thrived, and the Lord Death gained meaning, and so did the other gods keeping vigil. Turning their bones into chains, they anchored the continents and seas in place. Most agree the gods made the sacrifice willingly. Some believe they regretted it almost immediately. 1. Death. 9 years earlier. Azul del Arroyo didn't fully know what would happen when she set out to bring her older sister back to life, but since she was 10, she didn't much care. It took courage to sneak down to the inn cellar, even more so to saw off Isidora's cold finger. Azul's dagger was too blunt, Isidora's rapier of no use, but Azul did it, and she rolled the digit in her handkerchief before hiding it inside the pouch hanging from her neck. She waited and stayed silent, because she knew her gift was strange and that nobody would thank her for using it. And she prayed to all 5 gods, but especially to the Lord Death, to allow her sister to come back from his domain, just as the chicken had when Azul was 7, and her favorite cat when she was 9, and the couple of mice and the little snake at some point in between. The Lord Death must have listened, because a day after she returned home to the small Sancian town of Anguncion, Isidora was at her family's door, her memories after falling sick with the fever completely gone. The doctor at the inn must have made a horrible mistake and sent her straight home, Azul assured everyone as only a 10-year-old could. After all, Isidora was alive and free of illness. And if her sister had walked from the meadow of tall grass behind the house, like the chicken and the cat and the mice and the snake, instead of stepping out of a traveling carriage, well, Azul wasn't about to confess it. Because there was nothing Azul wouldn't do for Isidora. The present.
There's been a suspicious death, Emissary.
Virel Enjul, emissary of the Lord Death, looked up from his sketching. Bones, of course, free of flesh and tendons and blood. They were meant to become an armor, and sweat was enough of a stench to carry around. The messenger at the entrance of the room wore all his corresponding flesh and tendons and blood tucked into snug breeches and a long waistcoat. Sancian fashion, come to intrude into Valange, as if unable to conquer its neighboring country across the floating sea. Sancia had decided to invade through clothing instead. Enjul didn't care for these fashions, but they didn't bother him either. They would die, just as this man would, and something else would take their place. The Lord Death was supreme, after all. Nothing escaped his reign.
Come forth and speak,
Enjul ordered, abandoning the sketch and focusing his attention on the man. Natural decay had already taken hold of the messenger's body, death inevitable for everything that was ever born or grown. All Emissary Enjul ever saw was the death surrounding him. The man approached the emissary's desk, a sturdy thing used to the weight of thick, unread volumes and ledgers. He met Enjul's eyes for a heartbeat, then focused on the emissary's chest.
A suspicious death was reported on the docks at Diel.
Diel, Valange's pride,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?